I'm going to use your imagination a little bit today. My teacher once taught me how he released the club. He said when he was a little kid, he got out and had a clothesline, and we threw a rug over, and he got a foot from it, and he took the club, and he would stand there and beat that rug, just like so. But what he did that was unique is, see, when he beat it, his left arm would never touch the club. He would take it and bury the head of that golf club right into it. But see, this would never come off his chest too early. There's a big difference between trying to release the club this way and trying to release the club that way. That's how you keep the blade square and create a tremendous action with the hands. Now this is going to be an iron by iron lesson. If any of y'all want to model your swing after a perfect swing, do it at the iron by iron. And see what that iron by iron does. It's got an arm, but it always starts every shot 90 degrees removed. And that arm, what it'll do is, see, it just turns, it goes, and it never changes. Then from there, it just, well, what we can do in order to keep that same measurement, literally 100 times in a row, if you took your left arm and let your chest turn, the arm's going to turn with the chest. It will never go this way. And so, see, the simplest way to keep a consistent measurement is keeping your left arm the same in relationship to your body. So when I take it back, see, I'm right here, now watch. We're going to set the club just like that, and then all I'm going to do, look, just like an iron by iron, I'm going to turn my chest, and I'll have a perfect position at the top. And you'll notice, because I set the club down below, that I don't have any bouncing or vibration, which will create more distance and more direction without that bounce. You know, in a golf swing, it's a funny thing, but there's a lot of muscles that are working. And what happens is a muscle, really the only one that you feel is the one that shortens. But in order to create that supple speed instead of that rigid slowness, what happens is literally on the backswing, see, we start off in a normal state, a relaxed, comfortable state. But as we take the golf club back, see, we get it up to the top and we've wound everything up. Now literally from here, everything, every muscle that you feel wind up, you've got to relax on the follow through. See, we're going to take it, we're going to swing into a state of tension and swing out of a state of tension. See, where we get into trouble is if you swing into tension and keep that position like that. See, we want to create a swinging motion of the golf club. Swing. We start in a comfortable neutral position, take it back, swing into tension, and swing out of tension. All right, when you're watching Mike's swings, some of them were done with irons and some of them were done with woods, but the thing that I found pretty neat is when he came back through the ball, see, when he was right here, almost every shot finished just about right here. It was just an amazing swing. It's like I was talking to somebody today, if you've seen one of his swings, you've seen them all because they're almost identical in nature. But the swings that you're looking at today on this videotape were from the age of like 40 to the time he was 80. And it's just amazing how identical, how he never really changed anything throughout his career hitting that golf ball. Ready?
Anybody who witnesses Mike Dunaway hit the ball today can get an idea of the principles of Mike Austin at work, and you can watch the ball flight and just say, wow, I mean, this is amazing. Now, Dunaway may not be that different from some other long drivers, except that he hits it straight. He's amazing. Long drivers in general hit it all over the place. I've been to probably 15 World Long Drive Championships in a row, and if these guys hit 50% of the balls in the grid, they're happy. Usually it's about maybe 1/3 in and 2/3 out, and you're talking about a fairway that's 50 yards wide. Mike Dunaway went there a couple of years ago, and as I recall, hit something like 24 out of 25 into this grid. So Mike Austin was known for his length, but also he was an accuracy player and teacher. So that's the best of both worlds.
By the time I was 13, I could out-hit almost anyone that I competed against, because most everyone is trying to hit it with the arms instead of the hands. You can make 190 degrees semicircle more than the arms if you put your hands in the right position and cock them on the other side, you see. It gives you tremendous force in the right place in the head of that club, which is meeting the ball, you understand? One day, I was there practicing, and Bobby Jones was taking a lesson. He had just returned from Great Britain, where he'd won the British Amateur Open, and he wasn't pleased with the way that he was hitting the ball. And Stuart Maiden says, the pro there, look at that young fellow over there, watch him hit. You might learn something that you're not doing. He came over. I was hitting its ball. There was a lake there. It was 300 yards span. And I was driving it over that thing on the fly. And he says, how do you do that, laddie? I said, you better ask your pro. I cannot tell you. And it is not permissible for me to tell you, understand? And I kind of walked away from him. And I went back to Stuart Maiden. And they started practicing, and he was telling him what to do. But that was quite a pleasure to have talked to Bobby Jones, I played a few rounds with him, and it was something to watch him play. The man could actually look at a golf course and know what type of shot he wanted to hit before he made a stroke. And he could score, because that's called course management. If you don't manage the course, you don't get a proper score. Most people, they have no idea what a plane is, how to maintain, or how to even start it. They try to do it all with their hands and so forth. It's not done that way to get on the plane. I'm using the muscle on the end of my shoulder, and I'm just turning that muscle till I get my hands on the plane I want to swing on, so that my thumb went from an up position to a side position. I'm not using medical terms. I do that when I'm teaching doctors, golf pros, and educators of this. But by doing that, anyone can learn that. A 4-year-old kid, you just turn your thumb so your hand is parallel to the ground on this plane between your shoulder, left shoulder on the ground, you see, and just turn. But I'm now just showing you the upper part, not the lower. But this is have to come on back right here. A lot of people are raising their arms. They want to play now to the wall, not to the ball. You got to have this thing on a collision course away from it and back to it to make contact. You do it blindfolded. When you're on the top of the backswing, you're balanced on the right leg. Most people are turning their hip behind their navel in a negative position. The weight is on the wrong leg. That's the left leg. When you back up, call it what we call a back shifting, which is generally taught with people that has a single action pivot. That is no shift of weight, keeping the spine on the center line. There's no power there. It's still like a person standing in a pigeon bot and just throwing without any action of the legs and so forth, you know. See, most people try to hit it basically with their body. Well, if you do so like that, you cannot have a constant swing because you're lunging at it, jumping at it, and so forth. You do not have the gracefulness, the coordination of your balance on the lower 6 joints to those of the upper 6 joints. The lower 6 joints incorporate ankles, knees, and hips. The upper is shoulders, elbows, and wrist. And when you do that, see, most everybody is trying to keep the spine in an upright position. I'm not looking for stability, I'm looking for mobility. Now, when I swing, my spine is swinging, but the top of my spine is still, so by having the top of my spine still, I can ground out every time at the same place. But if you move your head up and down, sideways, you'll never hit the base of the ground at the same place. So it has to be consistency. And like when you dance, you're not just trying to just dance straight, you're moving all parts of your body. You have to learn to use all 12 levers. And the more efficient you use it, more power you attain, more distance you attain. Your body is moving not as the prime force, but as an assistant force to keep from impeding the club head and hands action. And very few people look at the golf that they are trying to hit it. All the people, the higher they have the scores, the more they're trying to hit it with their body and arms and trying to harpoon it, church bell ring or rope tug, you know. And I tell you, don't get that. If you had a rope and you put a weight on it and you just let it hang down by your arm like this, and we'll show this when we do it, and just give this thing a little motion like this, this will get up here to a horizontal line at that point. But if you pull it, it would never be, you know, it'd stay down. That is the most, you know, stupid thing I've ever heard. If you was going to pull a bowstring, you would extend the string to the as far as it can extend. You're also causing the bow to bend. Now, it would be stupid to take that from an extension back to where you started and let go of the thing. Where do you think the arrow would go? Just drop on the ground. The furthest you let that tension go, the more power you get. If you stood here and didn't move your body, that's casting. If you move your body, you're to get uncocked down there. It's not moving the body. You see, if one action stops. Casting, I'm trying to beat the brains out of you. Bam, right there. This is karate. Boom, just like that. He's not trying to hold it. He is not trying to hold it. He'd never hit a straight ball if he held it. You understand? It's the stimulus, reaction, and response time that you have to take care of. But your stimulus is back here. You try to hit it down, you fall backwards. If you get on here and try to hit it, it'll throw you backwards. Do you know that? I'll just tell you, take a person Now try to hit it from right here as hard as you can. And your head's going to do that. But you're through right now. At this point, my club, where they think they are holding, my club is in complete release. I have hit the ball in the first 15 inches. And then what makes it increase is the action of gravity on it. Understand? All you do is that, and you have to let it go when it does that. That club's in free motion. If it isn't in free motion, it's not gaining speed.
But at what point in the downswing is that?
As soon as you do that, your hand is now above your wrist, right? I'm going to make a 180-degree hand. Now, it don't look like you're looking at the arms, see, but look at your hands. My hand is what's above, is below. As soon as I get under there, that club is gone. If you try to keep up with the head of the club, you're dead. You're putting a brake on. Understand? Well, that's the most rewarding thing I've known. I played football, I played basketball, I played tennis, you know, I skied, hockey, and so forth, you know, boxed. And nothing gave me the pleasure playing that golf does. The only reason I teach is not for the money. I have all I want, understand? But it's to give back to God that which I've received.
How was that?
Long. Long? Long. Too bad you didn't catch that from behind.
Mike Austin's known my family since the 1950s, but I didn't really know him well until I got older, and I decided to make this tape, Mike Austin's Secrets from the Game's Longest Hitter. And by trade, I direct TV documentaries, so the facts have to check out. I do a lot of A&E biographies, and you can't fudge with the facts.
Mike told me about a life so rich and extraordinary, it was at times hard to believe, but every story was true. How as a teenager he impressed Bobby Jones with 300-yard drives at Eastlake Golf Club. How as a golf hustler he earned hundreds of thousands of dollars in the 1930s, playing left-handed, one-handed, or with his clubs turned upside down. The sports writers came to call Mike the golfing bandit. How he boxed professionally and won heavyweight fights. How he was an accomplished operatic singer and had contracts with major Hollywood studios. How he roomed with actor Errol Flynn, and how he gave golf lessons to Howard Hughes. Every one of the stories Mike told me was true, even the outrageous one where he said he beat golf legend Lloyd Mangrum while hypnotized. Mike never was much of a putter, and to battle his putting yips during a tournament in 1960, Mike told me he was hypnotized before his match with Mangrum. But once again, what sounded like a tall tale was true.
The biggest story of all is the 515-yard drive. And of course, Guinness Book has recognized that as the longest drive in competition and the longest drive regulation course. So it's not a fluke, it's not a gimmick record, it's not on an airport runway, it's not at a high altitude, it's the real deal. Mike is the real deal, and thousands of golfers worldwide have benefited from these techniques.
For a 64-year-old guy to hit a ball 515, I think is completely outrageous.
To this day, it boggles my mind. But I know it to be true from having experienced the swing now. It's such a great swing.
Well, that wasn't the only drive that he hit that day, and that prior to him driving the 515-yard drive, he had already knocked it on 2 par 5s with driver 7 irons that the other 3 people in his foursome had to hit driver 3 with 7 iron.
Well, most people are attracted to Mike Austin's method because of the distance, but the added benefit is that you get a much more accurate swing. I broke 80. For the first time I shot a 78 shortly after watching the tape.
It's made my golf most enjoyable at my age. If I was swinging the club and the normal way that's being taught, the conventional way, I would be hitting from the latest tee. But right now, I'm hitting the ball more accurate than I ever have, and I'm driving it just as far as I did 25 years ago with the Mike Austin method.
I loved Secrets from the Game's Longest Hitter. I think that the lessons to be learned there can apply to any golfer. I think that Mike Austin is able to show us how to hit the ball far without falling on your face. I mean, we're maintaining a rhythm and a tempo and a real golf game, and that's what I loved about it. I don't want to hit it long if I can't hit it in the fairway. There are many golfers just like me, and I think Austin shows us how to do both. And
Mike's technique is based on the understanding of mathematics and physics, and that's one of the few subjects that doesn't lie. And when you work on the motions that he works with, it's strictly a mathematical, mechanical advantage as to how to develop the best out of your body.
I like in the video where he talks about, you know, the kinesiology, the like body movement and controlling the body to get the most power out of your swing.
I cannot believe the improvement that I've made with the step-by-step instruction. Mike Dunaway's instruction on the tape and the way that he presents it cannot be done any better.
The tape is not just to see how far can you hit the ball. It is precision ball striking that will allow you to hit the ball right at the flag, control your distance, your elevation, and your curvature to your golf shot.
I'm hitting the ball close to 300 yards on occasion, which is something that I never really thought I'd be capable of doing.
The Mike Austin method has really changed my golf game. It's added about 50 yards to my drive. Not only has it added distance, but I'm much more accurate. I no longer have back-related problems from swinging. This swing is very easy on the body. I've lowered my low round from a 78 to a 69. I've lowered 3 shots off my 9-hole score also. So it's really affected my whole game. Not only added distance and accuracy, but I'm a much better all-around golfer because of it.
I am convinced that he's one of the smartest men who ever walked the earth. And I think that he took his affection for golf, combined it with this intelligence and this thirst for understanding how everything in the golf swing works, and he put it all together. And I think he really did it. I think he did it better than anyone else has done it.